Hi guys, welcome to The Young and the Tasteless. I am your host, Kathleen Wallach, as always. Okay, so what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about two sort of different, but sort of the same things. First thing is a tip I just read in a literary magazine. I thought I'd share it with you. And that is, if you're writing YA, which is young adult, or middle grade, or anything that sort of caters to young teenager to, older teenager, like let's say 11 to 17, kids always read up. So remember that when you're writing a book, when you're writing anything for sort of the young adult set, kids always read up. And that means, of course, that if you're writing for a certain age group, you're going to want to make your characters a little older. So I thought that was an interesting tip because I never really thought about it, but when I was younger, I always liked reading books about, when I was like in second grade, I'd always read like Tales of Fifth Grade, Fourth Grade Nothing, something that like, something to look forward to. Like I would read Babysitter Club books when I was, 7, and they were a little older. So I think it's, obvious reasons. You want to read about people who are older than you, so you kind of like know how to act or, whatever reason that there is. But people like that age love to read up in age, and they want to read about kids who are a little older. So just keep that in mind. I'm sure that's something that pretty much people, I think, almost biologically know. Like they kind of have it inside them. They want to write about characters that are a tiny bit older than who they're writing for. Unless, of course, it's like a very, very young children's book, in which case you sort of stick to that age group. But typically, they like to read up, the teenagers and the young teenagers. So, just keep that in mind when you're writing. All right, now the fun stuff. I read a Cracked.com article the other day, and it was from about 2 years ago. By the way, Cracked.com is really, really a great, it's a great website. Go on it. It's really funny. It has really great articles of the stuff you really want to, read about, like, worst movie villain. It's like stuff that's fun but informative, and they have really good writers on staff there, and it's hilarious. And it's kind of like, it's like akin to like The Onion, but it's not fake news. It's really, really good. So I really highly recommend it. And the article that I was reading, I don't know how I happened upon it. I linked it into my blog on Tasteless Entertainment, but it's this really interesting article about Saved by the Bell. And I bring up Saved by the Bell because the Lifetime movie has been announced. They're doing a Lifetime movie about Saved by the Bell, and they have all these actors playing these are Saved by the Bell favorites. They don't look anything like, I don't know why they cast these particular group of people. They don't look anything like them. They don't look, the guy playing Zach, oh my god, nothing like him. Anyway. And the girl playing Jessie is like, she just has curly hair, that's it. You know what? Whatever. Anyway. So it got me thinking about, so I I did a post on that, and through my research about Saved by the Bell, there was this really interesting Cracked.com article about how Saved by the Bell was all a dream in Zach Morris's head. My mind was so blown. Okay, because people in my generation, mid-20s, we grew up with Saved by the Bell. We watched the reruns on Saturdays. And if you really know the show, you know that the first season was basically this other show called Good Morning Miss Bliss, and which with Haley Mills. It was a different show. It was with Zach, and I think Lisa was in it, and I think Screech was in it, but there were different the other cast members were different. You don't even know I don't know their names. And it took place in like Indiana, I think, and Mr. Belding was there, but also the main teacher was Haley Mills, Miss Bliss. And so they're a little younger, they're like in middle school in these episodes. And so it's really weird when you think about, in the second season, they're all in California, and somehow Mr. Belding is there too. Like he followed them. So that is hard enough to wrap your brain around, the fact that, these kids all came from Indiana, but they all moved to California, went to the same school, and their principal from that school also went to California. So that's weird, right? All right. People tended to ignore the suspension of disbelief. All right, we'll buy this rebooted show. But then this article is basically proposing that the Saved by the Bell seasons 2 through 7, or wherever it stopped, the California Bayside years, were all a dream in Indiana Zach Morris's head. Now it's very hard. I sound high right now talking about it, but if you read the article, I really highly recommend. If you just Google like Saved by the Bell's a dream, it'll pop right up. And it is such an interesting theory when you think about it. It was like the article was like nitpicking every little thing, like, oh well, because the theme song alludes to it and all this stuff. But when you really think about it, I mean, this kid, Zach Morris, he went from being kind of like he was also, his parents were divorced in the Indiana version of the show, and then in California he has this happily married, perfect California life, and they're wealthy and he's perfect, and it really does tend to, you think about it, he can stop time, number one, I mean, that, come on, he can stop time, his parents are all of a sudden happily married, he's like rich, he went from being like a middle class kid to like a rich kid, he's the most popular kid in the school with 9 people, and it's like, it's mind-boggling, and I really recommend you reading this article because it is, I discovered it and I needed to share it with my fellow people who were fans of the show. And then, Saved by the Bell is on Netflix, so let me give this a go. Let me watch the show with this information, in my head. That show is so weird. Saved by the Bell is like the weirdest show in the world. It's so trippy. And it's like, how the hell was this written for kids? And you realize, like, these shows are written by adults that have an adult sense of humor, and they're gonna slip in as many adult jokes as they can, and they do. So, assignment. Read this article. Watch Saved by the Bell. Like, watch it again as an adult, as someone who has that perspective of, like, maybe this is some kind of trippy, weird dream, and this is all just fake. And you'll really... It'll blow your mind a little. If you want a mind-blowing day, do that because it's really interesting. It's really funny, and it's just that show was so weird. And they have this magician giving them. It's like what Max. I love Max. It's just there's so much in it that's just so funny and so amazing in that way. And I mean that just ties into my like writing up for kids. I watched this show when I was very young and probably just didn't get all these adult jokes. And I mean, really, this show is for like, again, like Girl Meets World, it's for like adult stoners. Like this show is like so weird, and it's definitely like for adults, but for kids kind of thing. And it's funny how they like wrote up, and as a kid you watch it and you think that's what high school's like, and then you get to high school and you're severely disappointed, and then you watch it as an adult and you're like, this is just trippy, weird crap. And it's funny and it's great and I love it, and that's like what I want you guys to do. Marathon Saved by the Bell. Start from season 1 and really get the whole thing going of like, okay, maybe this is a dream. Maybe this is all a dream in Indiana, and Zach is this kid in Indiana and he's having a hard time in high school and he's dreamt up this Bayside world where like literally 10 kids attend this high school. And I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know if they knew what they were doing. It's like these little fun things to do that for some reason match up and you don't know why. It's almost like, God put this out there for you to enjoy. It's great. But yes, please observe Saved by the Bell as an adult. It's very funny. It's very interesting and weird. But yeah, so that was my little spiel today. I wanted to talk about how, when you're writing for young adult audience, write up. Make sure you write the characters older, and they'll just sell better. And in your downtime, when you're done doing that, watch Saved by the Bell and notice the weirdness. I think it'll help. So that's the show for today. Watch it, absorb it, love it, and think about it. Think about hidden messages. I don't know, just anything. Just think about it. So have a great day, you guys. I'll see you next week. Mwah. When I was like 15, I think it was. Oh no, I was like 12. It was way before 15. I was reading like all of Jackie Collins' books, and that because I remember my grandmother took me to the library, and that's reading up Jackie Collins when you're like 12, and the graphic crap. I didn't need sex ed because I had Jackie Collins. I mean, that was, you know what, people, if you have 12-year-old kids going, get them a Jackie Collins book. That's all you need. It was the best. All of her books are amazing. But